In an age of opulent balls, steam-powered innovation, and rigid societal norms, the Victorian era was also a time of mystery and shadowed corners. Beyond the grandeur and progress lay a series of chilling mysteries that have puzzled historians and captivated the imaginations of many over the years. Let's waste no time and dive right in. Starting off today, we have Benjamin Bathurst in 1809. Benjamin Bathurst was a respected British diplomatic envoy on a secretive mission to secure British interests during the Napoleonic Wars. In November 1809, he stopped at an inn in Perleberg, Germany, while on his way back to England. Witnesses last saw him after he dined at the inn, when he walked around his horse-drawn carriage and then inexplicably vanished. Despite immediate and extensive search efforts that even involved the British government and Bathurst's family, no conclusive evidence of his fate was uncovered. A few personal items belonging to Bathurst were later found scattered near the inn, but they provided no significant clues. Theories about his disappearance range from abduction and having his life taken to espionage-related explanations, yet none have ever been proven. Even now, the disappearance of Benjamin Bathurst remains one of the most perplexing unsolved mysteries of the early 19th century. Next up today, we have Louis Le Prince in 1890. In 1890, Le Prince was on the cusp of showcasing his groundbreaking motion picture technology, which could have established him as one of the founding fathers of cinema. He boarded a train in Dijon, France, intending to travel to Paris, but he was never seen again. His disappearance occurred just days before he was scheduled to conduct a public demonstration in the United States, which would have likely secured his fame and fortune. While the train arrived in Paris, Le Prince's friends and family were shocked to discover that he was not on board, and his luggage was missing as well. Despite extensive searches and investigations, no trace of him was ever found. Notably, no body was ever recovered, and no conclusive evidence emerged to explain his fate. The mysterious circumstances surrounding his disappearance, of course, have fueled various theories over the years, ranging from foul play to self-imposed exile. Some speculate that commercial rivals or financial pressures may have played a role, considering the very significant implications of his inventions for the burgeoning film industry. Others wonder if personal issues or a desire to start anew could have driven him to disappear voluntarily. Le Prince's vanishing had profound implications for the history of cinema, as it left his contributions largely unrecognized for many years. Next up today, we have one of the most enduring mysteries, the Mary Celeste. The Mary Celeste was discovered adrift in the Atlantic Ocean on December 4th, 1872, in a seaworthy condition, with its cargo fully intact and personal belongings undisturbed. The vessel had set sail from New York to Genoa, Italy, but when found, there was no signs of the captain, Benjamin Briggs, his family, or the crew. The ship's lifeboat was missing, suggesting a possible evacuation in haste, but why they abandoned a perfectly good ship remains a perplexing question. The last entry in the ship's log, dated 10 days before its discovery, provided no indication of trouble, and the weather reports did not suggest any significant storms in the area that could have prompted the crew to leave. Various theories have emerged over the years, including mutiny, piracy, the possibility of an alcohol explosion from the industrial alcohol cargo, and even supernatural explanations. However, no evidence has conclusively explained why the crew vanished. Next on our list today, we have the Eilean Lighthouse keepers from the year 1900. In December of 1900, 3 experienced lighthouse keepers, Thomas Marshall, James Ducott, and Donald MacArthur, were stationed at the remote Eilean Lighthouse on the Flannan Isles, situated off Scotland's west coast. The mystery began when a relief boat arrived at the island and found no sign of the keepers. The lighthouse was in proper working order, and the men's belongings were still inside, indicating that they had not planned to leave for an extended period of time. A set of oilskin coats were missing, suggesting that at least one keeper had gone outside in a hurry or under distressing conditions. The log entries made by the keepers in the days leading up to their disappearance add a layer of intrigue. The entries described severe storms and emotional turmoil among the keepers, yet weather reports indicated that no storms had hit the area during the mentioned period. The final log entry, strangely, was a very mundane note about calm weather. Despite thorough investigations and numerous theories ranging from rogue waves and accidents to piracy, abduction, or even supernatural forces, accomplices, the fate of the three men has never been resolved. Next up today we have Thomas C. Dula from 1866. The mysterious disappearance of Thomas C. Dula is a captivating story that is full of intrigue, love, and betrayal. After serving in the Confederate Army during the Civil War, Dula returned to a tumultuous relationship involving love triangles that tragically culminated in the killing of Laura Foster, a young woman with whom he was romantically involved. Dula was arrested, tried, and convicted for this act against Laura, a case that captured public attention and was immortalized in the folk song Tom Dooley. His conviction was so notorious that it overshadowed the numerous appeals and widespread debate over his guilt or innocence. While awaiting execution in his jail cell, Dula vanished under circumstances that remain as baffling today as they were over a century ago. Theories about his escape include inside help from sympathetic supporters or a cunning self-engineered breakout, but no conclusive evidence has ever surfaced to explain how he managed to elude death row. Others speculate a more grim fate within the prison walls, suggesting that he might have been silenced to prevent the exposure of deeper secrets or conspiracies. Next up today we have the crew of the Resolven from 1884. In 1884, the Resolven, a Welsh brigantine, was discovered adrift near Newfoundland, presenting a baffling scene to those who found her. Despite being in good seaworthy condition, the Resolven was eerily deserted. The personal effects of the crew were found undisturbed on board, indicating no sign of a hasty or panicked departure. Yet, the lifeboat was missing, suggesting that the crew had maybe deliberately abandoned the ship for unknown reasons. The absence of any distress signals or messages only adds to this mystery. The sea conditions at the time and in the area did not indicate any extreme weather that would necessitate such an urgent evacuation. Furthermore, no subsequent trace of the crew or the missing lifeboat was ever found despite very thorough searches. What makes the disappearance especially compelling is the lack of any plausible explanation. Various theories have been proposed over the years, ranging from piracy and mutiny, from supernatural explanations to more mundane possibilities like a misguided attempt to escape a perceived threat. Yet without definitive evidence, the fate of the Resolven's crew remains a total mystery. Next up today we have Henry Hudson in 1611. Alright, this definitely predates the Victorian era, I know that, but it is another enduring mystery from a slightly earlier period that continued to intrigue Victorians, and it is just such a strange story I thought it would be fair to include today. Hudson was an esteemed English sea explorer and navigator known for his attempts to discover a prospective northwest passage to Asia. In 1611, during his fourth voyage aimed at finding this passage, Hudson's ship became trapped in ice near present-day Hudson Bay. As the harsh winter progressed, tensions within the crew escalated due to the very dire circumstances. In June 1611, when the ice finally cleared, a mutiny broke out among the crew. Henry Hudson, his son John, and 7 loyal crew members were cast adrift in a small, open boat. No one from this group was ever seen or heard from again, their fate becoming one of the era's most haunting mysteries. The mutiny's reasons are believed to be multifaceted, including discontent over Hudson's leadership, despair over being stuck in the ice, dwindling provisions, and the harsh conditions they endured. Theories over the centuries have ranged from survival on shore and integration with indigenous peoples to succumbing to the elements or starvation. Hudson's disappearance had lasting impacts, prompting further explorations and eventually leading to the establishment of the Hudson's Bay Company, which played a very significant role in the history of Canada, and his mysterious end has cemented his legacy as an iconic figure in the age of exploration. Next up today we have the mysterious fate of David Lang in 1880. In this year, Lang, a farmer from Tennessee, allegedly disappeared under extraordinarily mysterious circumstances. He was on his property, visible to his family and the occupants of a passing carriage, when he seemingly vanished completely into thin air. Both Lang's family and the individuals in the carriage were credible witnesses. They observed Lang one moment and then inexplicably he was gone. Their immediate reactions and subsequent testimonies added weight to the story, as they had no plausible explanation for what they had seen. Extensive searches of the area were conducted, the ground was examined for sinkholes, caves, or any natural anomalies that could explain Lang's sudden disappearance, yet nothing was found. The thoroughness of these searches and the lack of any evidence contribute to this mystery. Over time, the story of David Lang has been embellished and debated, becoming part legend and part cautionary tale. It raises questions about perception, reality, and the nature of existence itself. The case has been dissected in books, articles, and folklore studies, yet it retains a core of unanswerable questions. The enduring fascination with Lang's disappearance lies not just in the event itself, but in what it represents: the human encounter with the inexplicable. Could there be a paranormal explanation, an otherworldly one, or is there something reasonable and tangible behind this one? Because of the time it's been since this event, it's unfortunately likely that we may never really know. And finally on our list today we have Ambrose Small in 1919. While this case is slightly post-Victorian, it remains one of the most mysterious, unsolved cases in Canadian history. Ambrose Small was a prominent theatre magnate in Canada, owning several significant theatres that played a crucial role in the country's entertainment industry. On December 2nd, 1919, just after finalizing the sale of his theatre empire for $1.7 million, a vast sum at the time considering that's about $31 million in today's money, Small disappeared without a trace. He was last seen at his office in the Grand Opera House in Toronto, which is absolutely insane to think about considering I've been to the Opera House before. The following day, he was nowhere to be found and he never claimed his money. Despite a massive police investigation and high-profile public appeal, no reliable clues were uncovered regarding his whereabouts. Over the years, there have been numerous reported sightings and theories about his fate, ranging from abduction and having his life taken to a new life under an assumed identity. However, none of these leads have ever been substantiated. Alright, and finally closing out our list today we have Barbara Newhall Follett in 1939. Born in 1914, Follett was a child prodigy in literature, publishing her first acclaimed novel, The House Without Windows, at just 12 years old. Her early success marked her as one of the most promising writers of her time. However, Follett's life was not without its challenges. She faced personal difficulties and struggled with her marriage, which was reportedly unhappy. In December 1939, after a quarrel with her husband, Follett left their apartment in Brookline, Massachusetts with only $30 in her pocket. She was never seen or heard from again. Despite extensive searches and the public appeal for information, no trace of her was ever found. Her disappearance remains a profound mystery, sparking interest and speculation for decades. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you all again soon. Bye! Victorian Era mysteries. Hello, whoever's editing this. How are ya? Hope you're having a good day. It's rainy today. Alright, let's do it. A few personal items belonging to Bathurst were later, sorry, do you mind scrolling down a bit? Thank you. Next up today we have one of the immersed, that's what I almost said. The